How do I start this? What's up, guys? It's your girl. I'm not your girl, but anyway. Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl. Not really, but it's just Shauna. It's just Shauna, and I am here because I got like some messages and little IG replies to some of the stuff I reply in my story, like, hey, where'd you go? You like ghosted, and so I wanted to explain because I felt like this part of my life or this story could really like provide somebody guidance or just help someone. Let me just get into it. Okay, so about 2 years ago, I went through a breakup. And so, being newly single and just, I just wanted to work out. I wanted to look good. I wanted to, learn how to live on my own again. And so, because I lived with this person. And so pretty much that. And after a while, like people, and when I say people, like I'm not even saying a lot. Like when I look back, I think about how many people told me, and to be like real with y'all, probably like two. Just being real. Like you need to do more. You're never gonna find like a boyfriend, or And so for some reason that stuck with me, and I decided, like, you know what, I do need to get out. Like, I've been working out, my body's right, like, and I'm just at home, just going from literally from work to the gym, home, like, and all the time. And so like those are like the three places aside from like the grocery store that I would go. So your girl, I don't know. Don't judge me because I'm not the same person today. But your girl decided to sign up for POF. And if you don't know what POF is, it stands for Plenty of Fish. And it is an online dating site. Now, as I look back in hindsight, I feel as though God had me in a season in which he was hiding me. And that is like my message for this video is allow God to hide you. Like, there will be seasons where you will be seen and you will be out, and maybe you're dating and maybe you're like with friends, and like you'll have that season. But there's also seasons, I feel, that God wants you alone so that he can work on you. And just listen to God, because your girl didn't listen. And so I let these, I think like two people that didn't even matter, like, make me feel insecure about, my life and what I was doing, and like I was just handling business. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And so I got on POF. And I remember like my older sister, because she's just like my voice of reason all the time. She was like, she never like tells me no, but she's just kind of like, for what, And I should have known then, but I never listen, y'all. But I'm learning. And so, so I signed up, and I should have known it was BS when, like, within the first day, I had like 100 messages. And, I was like, whoa, how do people even deal with this? Like, I don't even know where to start. And so, fast forward, I end up like messaging with this gentleman, and he was chill. Or at least he seemed chill, because I went on 3 horrible dates, guys, like 3. Like, I went on 5 total, but 3 of them were just absolutely horrid, and that is what I'm here to tell you about. And I truly feel like these dates were horrid because this was a season in which God was hiding me, but I was like working in my own will and felt like I needed to be seen. So here you go. So I met this gentleman. Didn't meet him, messaged him. So we're messaging back and forth. And so then it goes to texting, and then it goes to phone calls. And so this is over a span of like 2 weeks. So then we decide to meet. Now let me give you some backstory on his profile. I'm not going to give his job, actually, because I don't want to blast nobody. So he had a good job. And he was really nice. In his pictures, he seemed to be like, not like super fit, but he was slim, he was slender. It was cool. I like it. He was about 6'3", so I was like, cool, you're taller than me because I'm tall. And we just had good conversation and good vibes when we talked on the phone and when we texted throughout the day. So I was like, okay, why not? So we decided to go bowling, and we decided to do so in the middle of the week. And so I was open for it. I'm like, wow, it seems like I met like a really cool person, who's got a job, who's like, we have chemistry. he knew God, or at least I felt he knew God. He was able to talk about it, and we'll talk about that later. But and so we decided to meet, and we meet at this bowling place, and I'm sitting at the bar because I was like, oh, okay, I'll just meet you at the bar, and then we'll go bowling or whatever. And so I'm sitting there, and he taps me on the shoulder, and I turn around, you guys, and I kid you not, your girl was catfished. No, well, not really catfished. Like, it was the person, but he was like at least, you know what? I'm gonna be real. Probably like 100 pounds over. And he was big. He was big, and you guys, when I turned around, like I felt so bad because like I know I had a smirk on my face. Like I know I had a smirk. And like I'm not a mean person, so I was thinking like, whoa, you're big, but I didn't want to be mean about it. And like the first thing he says, he's like, wow, you're so beautiful. Like you look just like your pictures. And he like had this pause where he was waiting, I think, for me to say something back. And I was like, bruh, don't don't do this to me. Like I'm not gonna be lying like this. Like I can't say it back. I'm gonna laugh if I have to say it back. So I just kind of like, thank you, and just like, try to continue on. So I'm just looking at him, you guys, and I feel so bad because I'm not trying to body shame, but you just shouldn't be out here lying about your size, because I feel like that, like if I was 100 pounds over what my pictures look like, he would have been like, whoa there, and so I just kind of I'm like racking my brain like, okay, what do you do? Do you leave? Like, I don't know, like that's mean. And so okay, backstory. I forgot to tell you more. So like while we were texting and stuff, he was constantly talking about like his meal prep and how he had these goals. And so I remember him being slender. So I'm like, oh, you trying to like get a little muscle? That's cute. That's cute. I'm with it. And so like the fact that he was talking about meal prep and then he ended up being big, I don't know. And I'm not even mean like that, but like, okay, let me explain. In my head, it's like when you go to a restaurant and you ordered chicken, but the waitress comes out with beef. And it's not that you don't like beef or that beef is bad. It's just not what you ordered. And that's just what I felt. I was like, can we take this back? Like, you're not what I thought you were. I don't know. That might be me. Okay, I'm gonna stop. But he just was bigger. And so, I'm thinking in my head like, dang, Shauna, but you had like good vibes on the phone. Okay, don't be shallow. Don't be shallow. And at that moment, y'all, like, I'm not saying be shallow, but I'm saying that like when something is not in alignment with what I guess you felt it was going to be, or someone is already starting off lying to you, I think you have every right to be able to walk away and not to feel bad, because it's not that you're like rejecting the person. You're saying, hey, like, just don't lie to me. Like, if you just showed me your pictures, it would have been different than you trying to deceive me. But me, trying to be nice, I was like, I don't want to be like mean. So I stayed. And I had a good time and all, because we did, have good vibes. We had chemistry. It was feeling more like friendship. It was feeling more like friendship to me. And so I just never saw him again. And I was like, yo, I'm scarred. Like, these dudes really out here lying. Like, why? Why don't you just put a current picture up? Like, I mean, someone is going to be like, yo, I love beef, but I was looking for chicken. I was looking for lean chicken. So that didn't work out. And so then I was kind of just like, oh, okay, this is scary. Like, these dudes aren't going to look like their pictures. And so it took me like a few more weeks to kind of get over that. And then I meet this other dude. And, I'm like, we start texting. I'm like, send me picture. Like, send me a picture when you go to work. Send me a picture when you go over to your mama's house. Send me, like, I need to see current photos. Like, hold the newspaper up. Like, I need to know that this is what you currently look like. And so did we do FaceTime? I don't think we did FaceTime. We talked on the phone, and okay, this dude was like a believer. I mean, our first conversation was like, whoa, like you're just, I already felt like he was going to like push me to grow closer to God. And so I was like, whoa, like this is really cool. And so we go to dinner, and I mean, it was good. It was great. Like after we decided to go get dessert from this place, it was closed. So then we ended up just going to like boring old BJ's and getting a Pizookie, and we just talked for hours until the restaurant closed. And it was amazing. And so he's like, hey, like call me when you get home. I want to make sure that you got there safe. So I did. And he's like, okay, like, yo, this was like so much fun. I had such a good time. Like, I hope you felt the vibe too. Let's go. Let's go do something tomorrow. And so I'm thinking, whoa there. But then I'm thinking, all right, you know, I felt it. So, okay, let's do something tomorrow. So I had mentioned that I like to go and ride bikes at the beach. So he's like, let's go do that. So I'm like, all right. So we do. And that morning, he texted me and he's like, oh, we're going to meet there. Like, maybe I should just pick you up so it's easier for parking. Because I think it was a holiday. I don't know. And so I'm like, okay, makes sense. And at the time I lived in an apartment complex, so I'm like, cool, you're not going to know my unit, you know? So as long as you're not picking me up from my door, I felt like I was being safe. Still kind of dumb now that I look back on it. But so we go. And, you know, it was cool. We like, you know, we get there. And no, not we get there. I get in the car. And that night he had like a white tee on. And y'all, I loved black men in white tees. I don't know what it is about that, but great combo. That's just a tip for y'all, man, if you're watching. And so, you know, he had a tank top on. And so I noticed he had a big old tat on his arm. So at first I didn't really look at it, and he's like driving, and then I just happened to look over and I realized that it's a tattoo of Chewbacca, I believe. Is that the hairy one? I think. I don't know Star Wars like that. And I'm like, yo, I mean, when I say it covered the whole, like all this. And so I was like, quirky, a little weird for me, but I'm gonna try to push through this since we had such good chemistry. And so we get to the beach and he's like, gotta get my glasses in my backpack. And he was a quirky guy, but I like quirky. I like people who just kind of do their own thing, you know? But not on this level. I wasn't ready for this level. And so he grabs his glasses and he puts them on, and I kid you not, do you know the, what are they? The glasses? Okay, I just think of Kanye West, but they're like plastic and they look like they have aviator shape, but they have like the lines through them. Those were the glasses he put on. And I was like, oh, why? And I'm like, can you see out of those? Like trying to be cute. Can you see out of those? Like, you're not wearing those in public. And he was like, yeah, I can see you. What's the problem? I was like, oh, never mind. So that was the first thing. I was like, you're kind of weird. And then he goes and grabs his backpack. And y'all, it's like a plush, like, you know, the kids' backpack, like if they had like Mickey Mouse or whatever, where you can like unzip Mickey and it was a Yoda black backpack. And I'm like, whoa, so you're like about this Star Wars life. Like, you're super quirky. And so I was still like, you know what? He's a man of God. Like, we have good chemistry. Like, don't let this stop you. Like, I'm sure there's some weird stuff I do and have that, you know, he'd probably think, like, she's a weirdo. So I was trying not to let it stop me. So we go, we ride bikes, we have a good time, and we're on our way back. And this is where, this was probably the worst date I've ever been on. And this is where it gets bad. So we get in the car and it's about like 4 p.m., right? And we're driving and he's like, man, I'm tired. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Like, you know, that bike riding really kicked my butt, but, you know, I'm just trying to be all cute. And this fool, you know, we're just driving and this fool begins to fall asleep. So like he's driving and you know when you start to do like you really about to go to sleep. So like I like peep this out of the side of my eye and I'm like, oh, are you good? He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just so tired. And I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, no, I'm awake. I'm awake. And I'm like, well, I hope so, because my life is in your hands right now. So then I'm just like now kind of just on edge, and I'm just like kind of watching, and I realize like his head is going for it again. But this time he swerves a little bit. Like not enough to like, make me scream, but enough like it went from, "Oh, you good?" to "You good?" Like and so he's like, "Oh, I'm just really tired." I'm like, "Do you need to pull over? Like, what's going on?" Like, this is the weirdest thing to me. Like, what? Like, it's 4 p.m. Like, what? I've never been so tired that I fell asleep, like, behind the wheel. And he was like, "Yeah, I just get really tired like this." And so now I'm worried about, like, my safety. And I'm like, "Okay, are you good?" This fool takes a water bottle and pours it over his head. And I knew then this was the last day. I knew then. I was like, "You're weird. You're straight weird. Like, why are you falling asleep like this behind the wheel?" Secondly, who pours a whole water bottle on their head? And now I'm just worried, like, am I gonna make it home safely? So I'm like, ready, to grab the wheel at any time, because I'm like, does this? I don't know what he has. Like, do you have a condition? And so, he's driving, and then he messes around and gets on the wrong freeway, y'all. And I was like, this is the wrong freeway. Like, where are we going? And now flight or fight, it's taking like a hold of me. Like, am I gonna have to hit you? Am I gonna have to take hold? Like, I just didn't know what was gonna happen. So I'm freaking out. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I just went into autopilot like I was going to work." And I was like, "You need to get on the right freeway." Now I'm scared. I'm like on edge. Like, whoa, never, look, ladies, never do this. Just never get in a car. I didn't expect him to be weird like this, but it happened. And so like he ends up taking me back home, and I just jump out of the car and I'm like, "Bye." And he's like texting me or whatever, and like after that, and I just am not responding. And so finally I respond, and I just let him know, like, I didn't feel safe with you. Like, I'm dating like with my future in mind. Like, the fact that you would be falling asleep, or being that sleepy and not have the discernment to be like, "I'm too tired to drive. Why don't you take an Uber? Can you call a friend?" Like, I need to be able to trust you. You know what I mean? Like, at least with driving, like, if you sleepy, let me know. I would have taken an Uber. I would have walked home. I would have crawled home before I got in that car. And so I was just so done. I was like, you know what? I'm over POF. Like, these fools is crazy and just weird. And so then I decided to take it like all the way, I don't know, right or left. Maybe, okay, left. And I talked to this dude who's like a little hood, just a little bit. Because I don't know. I kind of like it. Just a little bit. I thought I did. And so we meet, and I was like, let me make this quick. Like, I don't want to do dinner. I don't want to do bowling. Like, both of those were long, and like, I did not want to be there. So let me do something quick, like a drink. Like, there's really no prep time for drinks. Drinks are done quick, and like, I could be like, I only want one and dip. So if it's not cool. So we meet in Redondo Beach, and he picks the place. And so, we're talking as we're walking up, and like there's just like this booming like club, and it's like Sunday, this booming club, and there's just girls like drunk and half dressed, and like, and I'm just like, this is where you want to go to talk, like the first meeting we have. And so I should have left then. Like, all these dates, I pretty much knew, like, before, something more happened, that I shouldn't have been there. And this wasn't for me. So I should have known then. And we go in, and it's just so loud. Like, there's no way that we can talk. And he said, "I got you. Like, let me order your drink." And I'm like, "No, I got me. Like, please, I ain't planning to be in here. My head hurts. I don't even go out like this anymore." So I was just irritated, because I'm like thinking like a quiet drink, somewhere quaint. And this is where you pick? Okay. So he orders this big like fishbowl drink, and he's like, I hope you can help me finish it." And I'm like, "Bruh, like, I'm not 18. Like, I know this game, so you're so whack for this." Like, and he was older than me, y'all. Like, he was at least, let's see, he was at least 10 years older than me. So I was just like, "Bruh, you're so annoying. Like, you old out here doing this, irritating. You want some? I'm like, no, I'm good. You drink your big old drink. Good luck getting home. And so I'm just sipping. And so there's like no way to talk. So I'm like, this is irritating. So I finished my drink quick and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I gotta go to work in the morning. I'm so sorry. And he was like, oh, like I'm just gonna leave my drink. Like let's go. And so he's like, you know, we're right by the beach. Let's talk by the beach. So I'm like, okay. So we stand out there and we're talking, and like, I kid you not, this is the conversation. So we get out there, it's finally quiet, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's finally quiet. Like, how was your day? And he was like, oh, you know, it was good. I went to the bank, and like, there's this shawty at the bank, and you know, she cute or whatever. And she always trying to talk to me, but she got 3 kids by 3 different fathers, and I ain't trying to be number 4. You feel me? You feel me? And I'm like, no, I really don't, but okay. I was already like, bruh, I'm so off you. Like, this is, oh, I just want to go home and get in my bed and be hidden again. I don't know how we got on the topic. But then he was like, oh, you know, I just love chocolate women. Like, I love dark-skinned women. Like, light-skinned girls with, like, curly hair with that exotic look and stuff. Like, I know, like, dudes be pressing them and stuff, but, like, they overrated. Like, chocolate's where it's at. And I was like, I agree that chocolate women, women of color, period, are beautiful. And so, like, beauty is beauty, like, you know. And but then the whole, like, you low-key described me and low-key said I was overrated. So I was like, so, like, what's your type? Man, you know, I like, you know, like chocolate girl, like petite chocolate girls, you know. I don't know, like that's just my get down, you know, you feel me? And I was like, again, bruh, I don't feel you. And so I'm a little irritated because I'm like, you know, I want to go home. So I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just going to excuse myself. Like, you pretty much just let me know that I'm not your type. So I think it's time for me to go home. And he's like, yo, don't be like that. You're so what? Why are you on your feelings? And I'm like, for real, in my feelings? Why are you even saying this, first of all? So I was like, you know what? Like, I don't have time for this. And I'm like, it would be like me saying to you, like, you know what? Like, my type is like 6'3" or taller, chocolate, athletic build, you know, sounds educated, is educated, and you know, would take me, you know, to a quiet restaurant. I don't know. I'm just trying to be petty at this point. And he's like, yo, like, why you say that? Because he was light skinned and he was like, he was 6 foot, but that's not, you know, not tall to me because I'm 5'9". And so he was like, why you say that? Is that your type? Like, why you here then? I'm like, no, I'm making a point. No, that like that's mad disrespectful. I was like, bruh, I ain't got time. So I end up leaving, and he ended up like blowing up my phone. I mean 30 calls a day, like trying to say sorry. And I'm like, why? Like, why do you care? Like, we went for one drink. Like, get over it. Maybe you didn't mean it. I think you did. Maybe you're just crazy, but I'm good on you. So after that, sadly, I went on another date, but luckily that date like was cool. I met a cool individual, but we just weren't like, I don't believe he was emotionally available, and I think I was just trying to fill like this void, like, you know, to make myself feel better, like, oh, you're doing what you should be doing in your 20s, which is dating. And I just now think that that's so stupid, because I don't need to rely on me to find, you know, my husband. Like, I'm gonna rely on God, and as long as I'm doing what he needs me to do, like, that's just gonna come to me in alignment with what I'm currently doing. Like, I don't have to go out and put myself on a platform, you know what I mean, to be seen. And God is probably at this point like, girl, I didn't let none of this work. I didn't put you through like 3 weird, horrible dates, and you are still trying, you know? And that just showed me like how broken I was and how much like just to look like I had it all together. Because I think, at least for me as a woman, I felt that if I had a relationship, that it seemed as though my life was more together. Like, society's pressure, like, if you don't have a man, like, why aren't you looking? Why aren't you actively trying to change that? And so, like, my advice to you, if you are in a season of singleness and you just feel like, I'm just lonely and God has me alone, pray to God, because I think that he may have you like hidden, and that's different from being lonely. But I think the enemy like uses, oh, you're lonely and no one's gonna ever be with you and no one's ever gonna see you, like to get you to start just acting out or living in your own will and not God's will. So just pray on it, y'all. And then after that, I started talking to somebody that I had already like talked to. We have dated, and and just toxic relationship, and he just brought the toxicity back into my life, and I was like, and then something tragic happened towards the end of that, and I like literally gave it to God. Like, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just out here wasting time. I'm just out here trying to find someone. I don't even know what he's supposed to look like. I don't even know what I truly want out of this. I'm just out here doing it just to do it. So I just give it to God, and I gave my heart to God. I gave my body to God. I was like, I'm gonna be celibate. I don't want to be going out. Like, take my desires away of dating and feeling like a man completes me. Zoe, you're my dog. Zoe. That's where I got, and I was just crying out to God, like, just to heal me and to stop me from being dependent on relationships and feeling like I had to have somebody, and just to be like happy and not feel lonely in my singleness. And he did that for me, y'all. He did that for me. And as I look back, I believe that there's seasons in which God wants us hidden. And now that I've listened and that I stayed hidden, even from social media, because I felt like I was getting like validation from social media, like, oh, you're so great, you're so this, you're so that. And it was giving me this false confidence or this false belief that I was doing more in life than I really was, and was distracting me from God's call. Like, God was like, no, I need you. Like get rid of all that stuff. Get rid of the men. Get rid of anyone who is distracting you. Get rid of like social media and all that fake validation. And like, I just want me and you. That's it. And when I gave him that, and I was like in this season, and still am, I feel, of like being hidden, and it just changed me, because I finally feel okay with being single. I finally feel like I am complete. Like, God is revealing to me who I am, what my purpose is. And it also just revealed to me that sometimes God will hide you because of a prayer that you have prayed to him. And so I remember after my last relationship, and I told God, like, man, like, I just don't want to be a girlfriend. Like, I don't want to do that again. Like, I want to be a wife. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to have my family. Like, why am I meeting these men and dating them and like nothing is coming from it? Like, I want to be a wife. And I feel like God took that prayer and he's been working it out, but I've been resisting because I felt like becoming a wife was dating to try to find the husband. But I feel like God was saying, no, you said you wanted to be married. You wanted, that companionship. And so I'm going to have to make you the wife. And so this season in which I'm hiding you, this season in which you're alone, in which you feel like, man, like, I'm just on this routine, that I'm training you on how to be a wife, that you're not just going to be able to go out whenever you want. Like, I'd say the devil is busy, as I like was met with these obstacles in my life. And I just feel like God was like, no, you're busy. Like, I need to slow you down. If you would slow down and just talk to me, you wouldn't be going through all of this. And so he's really slowed me down. I spend so much time alone because that means that I get to spend time with him without any distraction. And like, I look back and I wish that I had never gone on those dates or wasted that period of my life like trying to figure out, who's going to be my husband, and feeling like, I could figure it out in my own will. Because now that I've given it completely to God, I realize that no, he has me hidden for a reason, because when he reveals me, I'm going to be ready. And so, yes, I'm just, going to work and going to school and working out, and it seems really routine, and it can feel at times lonely, but I realize that I'm not alone, that God is always with me, and that I'm so much happier just with him than I am like running around trying to figure out this life on my own. And I always go back to those POF dates, like, girl, you want to be doing that? And I'm like, Child, I'm good right here. I'm good right here in my home, comfortable, not with these crazies, because I know that what God brings me is gonna be it. You know what I mean? Like, I've written my list of what I want my husband to be, and I like have prayed on it with God, and I'm like, send him. And when you send him, it's gonna be when I'm ready, because I feel like if God would have sent me a husband that or someone who was ready for that, that I would have destroyed it. That I was so broken, and I am broken still in some areas, and he's healing those areas in me, like areas I didn't even know were broken, bringing up these past childhood, like these memories of things that have happened to me that like I suppressed. And so I've been dealing with those and dealing with heartbreak, and why did I not have self-worth, why did I not feel that I was good enough, these daddy issues. And he's just healing me, but by myself, just like me and him. And I'm like so grateful for that, because I'm like, thank you, God, for being a God that, like, yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna have to work on some things in front of my future husband. I'm glad that it's just me and him working on these things, and that no one has to see me, as I go through this process, and that like people are starting to see the end result of it. That being in my prayer closet, being alone with God, I just feel like I'm becoming the woman that God called me to be. So my whole rant, this whole story was just to say that if you feel like you're in a season of loneliness, if you feel like you're just doing the same old things and you're never going to meet someone, I ask and I just pray that you like take that up with God, and you ask him, like, what do you want me to do in this season? Because sometimes it's just to be alone. And I can tell you from just maturing me, like financially, spiritually, emotionally, that like I feel more equipped to be a wife than I ever did. But it's not my goal anymore. It's not something I'm like, I just want to be a wife, I just want to have my family. Like, I'm like, you know what, God, when it comes, it comes. But you're like you're opening so many other doors for me, that like that's just like an extra. That's like, okay, cool. Like, when it comes, I'll be happy about it, of course, but it's not like everything to me. So I just pray that you ask God what he wants you to be doing in this season, and stay hidden, child, if he wants you to stay hidden. If not, you're going to be like me and go through some crazy dates, or run into that crazy ex again, or just putting yourself through things that like God did not want you to go through. And he's probably like, this child is so busy. Like, if she would just sit still, I would show her who she really is, and I would give to her the desires of her heart. But she's got to come through me. And so that's all. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I wanted to say. I want to answer the question, where have I been? And that's where I've been, is with God. Like, really. So yeah. Bye.